Here is a table of contents. If you could read it in the back, I'm sorry. If you can't read it, I'm sorry. By a man named John Eltzler. Some of the themes might sound eerily familiar if you read these contents. We have chapters on the power of wind, tide, waves. We have chapters on systems of machineries and the establishment of applications of these powers, a plan for building of a community. Oh, and the earth can nourish 1,000 times more men than now exist, etc. Sounds familiar. This is one of the first post-scarcity books ever written. The subjects include the importance of renewable energy in a systems approach, applying machines to labor, of course, adapting human values through education, and creating an abundance. Here are some quotes. The first elements of mechanics teach that there is no motion imaginable that could not be produced by some adapted mechanism, provided we have the requisite power. We have superabundance of power, 1,000,000 times greater than all men on earth could effect hitherto. The powers are chiefly to be derived from the wind, from the tide, from sunshine, and the heat of the sun. Each of these powers requires no consumption of materials, only materials for the construction of the machineries. Once established, there will be no occasion for any work except the superintendence of machinery, which requires 1 to 3 persons in all, these being relative, of the whole community. If done in turns, every adult would hardly have 1 turn for 1 day's superintendence in the whole year, but it would probably be done voluntarily, being about an amusement, no tedious occupation of labor. Today, we drudge and toil in agriculture and in manufactories, making many useful and many useless things for human life, for supplying many various demands and necessities, comforts, and luxuries. We care little about the real benefit our industry may afford to the buyer, provided we make money by their sale. There is an endless variety of artificial productions of every kind resulting from competition of the producers. What virtue can be in passing one's life like a prisoner in the treadmill? The occupations of manner or present state of advancement are yet not much better. They are either a monotonous drudgery or some insipid occupation, which nothing but custom and necessity may render tolerable in some degree, but which are the very means to keep the mind in inactivity in low, trivial pursuits. What is the mighty object of leading such a life? Of course, to get money in order to buy what one wants. Is this the most exalted virtue, the highest destination of man's life that can be thought of in this world? It may be a virtue or a necessary evil in a state of general ignorance and prejudice, but it is no virtue found in nature. Does any of this sound familiar? This book is called The Paradise Within the Reach of All Men Without Labor by the Powers of Nature and Machinery, and it was written almost 200 years ago in 1833. That's about 50 years before the first light bulb was invented. Eltzler envisioned a society that harnessed renewable energies in various ways, plugging them into power steam engines, and using those engines in turn to facilitate automation, stopping human servitude and drudgery, and hence the creation of his view of a global abundance. He even talks about creating composite materials out of wood dust and particles, and approaching architecture through molding and extrusion, along with mixed-use concepts such as ocean-powered steam vessels that are desalinating water at the same time as producing energy. And of course, he implies little need for the market or monetary system and saw it as a waste of life and inefficient.